Good morning and welcome back to our Ask the Agronomist Facebook Live. Thankfully, we are out here today in the field, so happy to be in the sunshine, that's for sure.
Beautiful this morning, but I don't think the sun's it's gonna be a little hot today.
It is, yes. It actually already feels pretty hot. Walking into work, I was like, where did this come from?
Dew point at almost 70, so it's gonna be bad the next few days.
Yeah, it is, but at least there's not rain now, so.
Yes.
Many of our areas from our crop reports yesterday we saw are underwater and recovering from some flash flooding.
Yeah. 7 to 8 inches of rain in a few hours is not an easy thing to overcome for anything,
right.
or any crop, or a football field, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, we've had a lot of significant flooding lately. Looks like this weekend we may get some more slow-moving thunderstorms. So yeah, not fun to go through that. It's something we can't control, but it's obviously a challenge and kind of something that puts a little stress in everybody's life.
Right, hang on for the ride nonetheless. All right, well today we're going to be talking about IDC and soybeans. So we are out here in our plots. And we'll just be going through some of what it is, why it's happening, and how to fix it.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about IDC or iron chlorosis deficiency before, I think over the winter time, but now is a great time to see it. And our plots may be a little bit more behind what some guys are seeing. You know, typically this is early season, 1 to 3 leaves stages. Some guys may be more like 6 or 8, but this can show up well past that stage, just depending on the severity of it. So this, either way, is still a good time to look for this issue out in your field. But it's also good to remind everybody, since we are talking about flooding, that don't mistake it for flooding. So the first thing, I guess, if we're looking at the symptoms of it, when you look at IDC, most guys know what they're looking for, and actually this one shows it really strong. You actually tend to see more white. You see yellowing in the top to upper leaves, but it eventually turns white. And the reason for that is because the iron has a lot of roles in the plant, especially soybean, but it affects how the photosynthesis is made. It affects that process. So if the plant's not photosynthesizing, it's kind of like getting hit by one of those herbicides. It's going to turn it white. And you'll see that in between the veins should still be green, but once it gets to this white point, it's all white.
Right.
But the thing you want to look for is these unifoliates. Those first leaves that come out, the first true leaves that are just unifoliates, are not going to show it.
Okay.
So it's going to be in the upper part of the plant, the top part of the canopy, because it's a micronutrient. It's not mobile in the phloem, so it's going to show up first in the top. So if you're seeing it all the way down to these unifoliates, obviously it's pretty severe.
Yeah. Okay. What else might it be if you see yellowing in the field?
Yeah. So right now, as we talk about the flooding and stuff, obviously make sure it's not a flooding issue. Flooding kind of coincides and goes hand in hand with iron chlorosis, but if it's flooding, specifically a flooding issue, you're going to see general yellowing throughout the plant. It's not going to be just in the upper leaves, the most mature leaves, or I should say the newest leaves, sorry, the upper part of the plant. It'll be throughout, and it'll be yellow. When you see iron chlorosis, like I said, it kind of does that graduation from yellow to white.
Okay.
As it gets more severe. So.
Okay, well let's talk about why this even happens. So a little bit about saturated soils and why in this area of the state.
Yeah, so and if you look at, and Iowa is not the only place that this happens, obviously. Our guys up north know this all way too well. And how this interacts with salt concentrations in the soil. So that depending on it, if you have tiling or what kind of water management your fields have, in that regard, that greatly affects whether iron is available. But typically we see it in the Des Moines lobe in the center part of Iowa in our heavy soils, those soils that don't dry out. They're cooler, they're wetter. There's a lot of compounding factors there, even with nitrogen still in the soil, that can add to this effect.
Right.
And really the way I look at it is, this is a micronutrient. It may not be something that's required in high amounts, but it plays a lot of roles. I said, it has a huge part in photosynthesis, that factory in the plant, but it also has a big part in the nodulation of the soil too, which is a huge factor of yield. So anytime you see these symptoms, you are, immediately you're losing some yield. So there's a compounding effect when you have low-lying soils and things interacting that affect that, and just the availability of iron in higher organic matter soils and stuff, and root growth. That's what I want to get back to is, when you have poor soil conditions, wetter, colder, things like that, obviously you don't have as good a root growth. And then if you have compaction issues on top of that, then you're making those worse. But the root growth is what's important, because the more surface area you have on your roots, the larger that root mass is, the more area it has to absorb from. And when it comes to a micronutrient, you need more surface area.
Right.
So typically when you see this, it's something that it can outgrow. It just needs more root growth. It needs to branch out, it needs to explore more soil and be able to pull up more iron. But in severe cases, and the guys up north know that it's more of a challenge than just getting more root growth, because it could be too severe to overcome.
Right. So places in the field where they have high pH or low pH year after year, is it prone to that spot every single year?
Yeah, typically you'll see that year after year in the same spots. And this is something that in my area of field, the precision ag thing is extremely valuable. Guys use I'll throw in a name there, Veris or EC data, electrical conductivity, but basically you can get maps on pH and CECs and how that all interacts in your field, and really map that out to specific areas.
Right.
And eventually, I know there are guys with air drills and things that can make it happen, but change varieties on the go. That's the biggest key to this is picking the correct genetics.
Okay.
So if you're seeing it just like we are here, it's kind of a variety specific thing. As we stand in plots here, how severe it is around us. Those guys need to figure out what those worst areas of the field are. How big is the field and how bad are those areas? Is it worth putting the strongest IDC bean we can out there? We have some really good ironclad beans that have some strong tolerances against IDC. But if your whole field's not struggling with that problem, it's more of a spot that is probably not worth putting the most defensive bean out there, because those defensive beans obviously are defensive for a reason.
Right.
They've got those traits. They focus on trying to get better root mass or metabolize, pull up that iron in a better way than some of the other varieties. So you got to consider that. Or at some point, like I said, this will be a really nice way to incorporate multi-hybrid, multi-variety on the soybean side.
Yeah, so interesting. Maybe it'll become more popular as we, in a few years down the road too.
Yep. As more guys use different technologies or get, different planters and have that ability, this would be something that I think will be extremely valuable for those guys. Around here on up north, we have a good chunk of our territory has issues with IDC. So.
All right. And then just one more question. What about management? So as far as things that you can maybe change exactly next year if you don't have a multi-hybrid planter.
Yeah. So like I said, the first thing is picking the correct genetics. Finding those spots out in the field, finding how much there, and then picking the correct genetics. If it's not working this year, then do a trial. Try a couple different varieties on that particular field and see which one responds best to those areas. That's the first thing, because genetics are going to be your first line of defense. This is not something you can completely avoid, but genetics are your first line of defense. The second thing I'd say is a lot of guys try to do a rescue treatment, and that's sometimes you'll see a response, sometimes you won't. Typically, you can't get the plant to take up enough iron. It'll green it up, and that may help with your root growth underground, which may get you there. But I would say if you know you're going to have these issues, it would be better to use, a chelated iron in furrow at planting.
Okay.
You're going to have more uptake from it, just simply because the roots are absorbing it, not the leaves.
It's right there.
We always try to spray things on the leaves, and we forget, that you can only put so much down on the leaves. And a lot of where the leaf takes up, nutrients or things, if it's sprayed on it, is actually the underside.
Oh, okay.
And that's where it has more stomata. So, it's just one of those things. It's back and forth on whether spraying a chelated iron, can provide some yield benefit. But I would say if you're having issues, try doing a variety trial on that particular farm or field, and maybe trying something in furrow if you have that ability would be your best front lines of defense.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for the information. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just hope that you guys don't get any more rain than what we need, and that it just looks like we keep getting the same spots getting hit by rain, and I just hope guys can survive the flooding.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for our viewers for tuning in, and have a good day.